Hello, hello. We are here and we are very pleased to connect with you all in this way on this very special day of your time. How are you all doing? Very good, yes, yes, yes. Now, it is our pleasure to connect with all of you, and we, first of all, must thank you for allowing this connection to happen. Every time you allow us to meet you in your world, there is a bridge that is extended, that becomes a third reality between our reality, your reality, and this new reality in which we meet, which allows both of our realities to change and become anew. And through the reflections that you offer us, we expand our connection to all that is in the same way that you do. So, our pleasure. Thank you very much. We are what you may call the Pleiadian Council. We are extra-terrestrial beings coming from the star system you call the Pleiades. This is a wonderful place, and we are your twins in a way in the galaxy, as we have the same root connections to a group of beings known as the Anu, who were your creators, you could say, and ours as well. And through this shared genetic information, we have been connected for many thousands and thousands of years. We have visited your world in some ways, and we have always been present with you at this energy level. This level allows us to both grow and connect and expand together. We speak on behalf of as well the entire Galactic Alliance, a group of many star nations, as you could say, from your perspective, that are united in a force that is of peace and harmony and the commitment to expand our wisdom and knowledge and love together. There are very many of us, and they are all welcoming you. They are your ancestors and as well your children, coming across the lines of time and helping your world ascend now so that you may become part of this wondrous galactic alliance and embody the higher dimensional potential of your planet. We can speak more as you ask about these sorts of things. So we have come at this particular day of your time for very wonderful reasons. For this is the day that you have grown accustomed to honor the connection between the worlds, between your human living reality and your human dead reality. And we say that no matter if you have left the body or not, you are living in the light. And all who come to join you now, and you have all brought many visitors with you, they are always with you, and they are connected through your DNA, through your soul's makeup, and they are always present with you and always accessible. They do have great love for you, and as you honor them and thank them, your own connection to the earth and to your heritage grows in a way that you can see what is innate and unique and specific to you, and see how it continues through you. Now, there is great, wonderful information to understand about this so-called DNA. Every time you have an experience, every time you have a thought, your DNA changes. And it is recorded, and it is transmitted if you come to be a parent. And so, literally, every single experience has been encoded in the DNA. Every experience of your parents and their parents before, at every age, every belief, every program, every experience, even a traumatic one or a wonderful one, has been recorded in the DNA. And as you grow in your age, at every age, that memory from the time your parents or your grandparents had an experience at that same age comes to live through you in a new way. So your ancestors are here to teach you the theme of a particular incarnation, and they are here to remind you how much you are loved and how deserving you are to be here. Yet they are, in a way, also not understanding the nature of the future. And for this reason, you, as you connect beyond the so-called boundaries of time, also may invite in the future. For if you can connect with what was, you can connect with what may be equally so. And now, the generations to come before you, your children, and if you do not have children or will not have children, well, you will play a role in the program of hybridization or in the children of others to some extent. They are sending you energy as well, and we invite you to bring their frequency in as well. For while those who have come before assist you in your remembrance of all of the knowledge of the earth, of how wonderfully long it took for you to get a body and be here, of all of the many periods of great tribulation and effort that it took for each of your ancestors to make a new body, to raise a new child, to live on a world that was much harsher in some ways than it is for you today. And we understand that in other ways it is a very harsh reality still. When you honor that and you remember that, the codons of your DNA activate, and you can awaken within yourself the power and strength that has brought you here. And at the same time, when you call upon those who are coming to you from the future, you open yourself to become the new human. Some call it Homo Galacticus. And this sort of new human is the complete embodiment of what is potential in your DNA from your first point of creation through the Anu. They put within you the potential to become like them and to awaken the same gifts that they had awakened. And as you evolve in these times, well, there are many changes biologically that will arise. For you are indeed coming now to open yourself to the potentiality of being a new sort of human altogether. And this is very exciting. Now, as you come to understand that everything is here and now, you can bring into your present waking consciousness the energy of any one of those who have passed on and those yet to come, simply by focusing on them. They will be present in great love. For truly, when a soul leaves the body, that soul immediately returns to Source's unconditional love and light. There are some beliefs that you have developed due to an incomplete understanding of time and space, and that is all right. Yet, the truth is, regardless of the soul's behavior here as a physical human being, the soul instantly becomes unified with that field of love and light. And that soul retains its individuality to an extent, though it reconnects with the oversoul. The oversoul here is this sort of conglomeration of many souls that incarnate across time and space on many different worlds and planets. And as your soul disconnects from a physical body, your soul reunifies with that oversoul. So all of those experiences that you may have as past or future lifetimes become much more accessible, and you feel no separation anymore between them, though you still have a sense of being that same soul you are today, that unique, that perfectly unique and talented and special soul you are today. Yet there is a process of death that the consciousness undergoes. And what is very interesting to experience is that you can sort of get a bit close to this death state when you sleep, and through the use of certain substances in your world. What occurs when you leave is this blending, this instant merging of the minds that are layered. You have a conscious waking mind, you have an unconscious and a subconscious, and as they become unified, there's a wondrous experience that occurs. For one, you experience exactly what you believe you may experience when you pass on. And so many have left their body and report the very wonderful vision of heaven as it was described to them, or they report the terrible version of hell that was described to them, and they record it, and they use it as evidence for their beliefs. And here's the tricky thing to understand is that everything you believe is. You cannot argue with your beliefs, because your beliefs are filters through which you perceive reality. And when you leave the body, those beliefs will still be in place and still will create a filtered experience of reality that is totally up to you as you choose your beliefs, yet you will still experience it. And so some who have even said that, oh, nothing happens, they've claimed to be atheists, will experience that if they have a near-death experience. That is valid. Yet what the souls often forget, because they come back to their waking consciousness, is the other layers of this sort of merging. And it is a bit hard for you to grasp this, because what occurs is both sequential and simultaneous. So, yes, you experience exactly what you believe, yet you will also experience, most certainly, the meeting with all of your genetic line. The meeting of those souls, they will be present with you again, and you will also experience a total unification with God Self, with your own God, with the Creator. You will feel yourself as that Creator, and you will meet the Creator. And as you meet the Creator will ask you, would you like to return? And you have the choice. Would you say yes, or would you say no? And some of you have actually died before, and you said, yes, I'd like to come back. And you did. And the incidents around your death and rebirth in that sense were a bit confused, because you actually shifted through parallel realities. And you shift through parallel realities in every moment, that when you head very far in one direction and then you decide something different, it blurs the laws of memory a little bit. So, yes, when you die, you always have the choice to come back. And when you make that choice, you simply shift back into a parallel reality, back into your experience, back into a body that is conscious and awake and aware, with some memory of the death and some memory of that experience of the belief created reality of a heaven or a hell or a emptiness or a nothingness. Some memory. Not all souls remember the choice point, some do. And as you merge more with that God Self, you merge more with your essence, you go beyond time and space entirely, you then have the ability to decide where you'd like to focus. And some souls focus on another incarnation and bring some of their focus there, and some souls focus to be entirely non-physical most of the time. And every soul makes its own unique choice that is totally valid and totally celebrated by all that is. There is no choice that is not celebrated by all that is. And so, you may know that all of those who have passed on are in that field of love and light, and are deeply connected with Creator. And yet, you retain in your reality these ghosts. And what we will say about this is that they are soul fragments that are perpetuated by the belief of those alive. When your soul has an attachment to one of the ones that has passed on, and you retain your attachment to an agreement to that individual, a phantom image of their soul that is a mirror to the truth that their soul was fragmented while incarnated, that their soul was shattered, that there was a part of their soul that they were denying or avoiding. It is a mirror to that, but the truth is their soul actually becomes reunified in the departure from the body. The living keep the ghosts around with their belief and their focus upon them. And you must go about the necessary tools to integrate this by connecting with that unified soul self and inviting them to reunify, inviting them to fully merge with their higher self and their higher mind and their oversoul, which is already unified entirely. You can do this through a variety of means, through some crystals, through some different techniques that we could explain if you wished. And this will be a great clearing of any of this idea of ghosts that you do experience, for you must know that they are, again, phantom images. They are real, though you perpetuate their existence until you make the necessary choices that will allow them, for your sake, to be reunified. There is no sake in keeping your business with the ghosts, for once you allow that attachment to dissolve and you come into a connection with their oversoul, their bright, brilliant higher self that is always with you, always connected to you. You can always feel their presence in your own heart, and they can always whisper to you, and they can always show up through the little things that happen around you. You can still experience that contact, and sometimes that tingling, or sometimes that object that moves without your consciousness asking it to. They will show up if you want them to, though they do not need to be in that painful fragmented state. That is your choice, not theirs. Yes, we would like to say as well that you are that eternal being, that unified being with your source already. And as you continue to become more of yourself, you undergo processes that are a bit like mini deaths. You can see it as a death, or you can see it as a transformation. Though oftentimes when you have practiced believing yourself to be a certain way for so long, it truly must be experienced as a death in order to be a new version of yourself. And so we do wish to say that actually in every nanosecond you are a different person. Every slight change in your vibration is actually a shift into a parallel reality of time and space in which you are an entire different being, same soul, different human, and you have the power to become something new in every single moment. As you choose to focus your thoughts and your imagination in the directions that are most appealing to you, this process will be more effortless. And truly, for many of you, the time has come where the struggle of the past is now over, yet you try to reinstigate that struggle because it has been such a common experience for those who have come before you. It is literally in your DNA, as the ancestors have held it for so long. Times of struggle, times of struggle, times of struggle, yes. And it is now okay for you to let that be part of the past. Your ancestors are here with you today so that you can celebrate the time that you are in, the time where you are becoming an ascended multidimensional being rather than a third dimensional sort of being. And as you choose that for yourself, you will have the opportunity to be in an entirely elevated state all the time. You may still experience pain, and pain is a good thing. Now, pain If you break it down into syllables, or rather, every letter representing a word for you, you can say pain is pay attention, integrate now. You pay attention for a moment, and then you align yourself with what you would prefer. There's always something going well for you, and you are always connected to an infinite source of love. If you take your attention away from the pain, acknowledging it, not avoiding it, but take your attention away from it and focus on the bigger, eternal picture, the pain will not bother you very much at all. And you will quickly transform again and again into a new version of yourself. The truth of this really is that you are channeling yourself from your higher mind. Your higher mind is again this filter through which your oversoul brings into reality a certain human personality. You've practiced believing yourself to be a certain way because you learn from others how you are, and you learn from society how things work. And you can actually change those definitions and be a new person in a nanosecond by allowing yourself to become empty and asking yourself, who would I rather be? You run the show here. You have all of the power in the universe before you. And when you choose to be something new, when you choose to focus a new thought and continue to focus that thought and continue to repeat the thought if it feels good, you actually become a new person. And that new personality that moves and embodies itself through you has great power, has great importance. You are here for your ancestors to change those old patterns and accept their love, for it is truly unconditional and truly omnipresent with you. They have great wisdom of how your planet developed, and those keys are in your very DNA. As you use your own imagination, much of this will present itself to you. We thank you for receiving and digesting this transmission, and in return for the sharing that we have brought to you, we ask you now, in what ways can we assist you with your sharings, your musings, your dreams, your questions, your doubts, your fears, whatever it is you'd like to speak? One at a time, you may begin if you truly wish.
Yes. I would love to.
Yes, and how are you doing this moment of your time?
Thank you. That's the second time that we meet, and last time I have left the space to others to ask questions.
Yes.
And this time I would like to address.
All right, yes.
And I would like to address because, like I said, I brought my ancestors here. In front of me there is the picture of my grandma that taught me what I am, who I am, and the other one is my father that also gave me all these gifts. So I'm very thankful to them. So from my father I received this compassion and like positivity, and from my grandma to be a person of service and to have the discipline. So this is what I'm carrying with me.
Yes.
And I love to be in service. But my question would be like, what I'm noticing that it starts to bothering me more and more. Like in the past, I would be in service and I would just clean after each other. I would just go on and be in service. And what I'm realizing right now in my life, that when I open, like for instance, my home to people and they are kind of not able to keep it clean, that it's just bothering me. And I found it unrespectful to the space, not even to me. So maybe you would have like to tell me how can I address it, how can I deal with it, so that I can still be in service, but not being bothered and suffer under it. Like I said, to balance giving and receiving.
Yes, and can you allow for different choices, can you choose those who have that similar frequency to you?
So
In other words, the same preferences.
So you mean by rejecting some others that are not having the same preference and the way of living
Yes.
I do have?
That is a simple solution. That is the simplest solution. And this is actually a more helpful way to be, is to gravitate towards those who are similar to you and have the same sorts of desires and preferences. Because you don't have to suffer under the things that you don't like. And if you find yourself in situations in which this is the case, another way that you can analyze the situation is to realize that you don't ever experience the situation itself. You experience your definition about something being left messy. Now, you may want to hold on to your definition because it means something very important to you to have it in a certain way, and it feels good for you when you fulfill your own definition, though it is also optional, for not everyone has the same definition about something. So understand that the belief behind a certain situation creates the emotional experience. And you can, for a moment, in situations in which you already have given your control to something and you are in it, simply allow yourself to look at it from a different angle, and the emotional charge will dissipate. And then from that more neutral space, you can choose, does this connection benefit me? Does this connection harm me? Does this meet what I want? Or does it harm me?
Yes, I do hear it, and I do believe that on this planet everything has a condition, like a flower will blossom because there are the conditions of the sun shining and opening it up.
Yes.
So I do not believe that there is such a thing like unconditional being all the time.
Yes.
There are some conditions where something can blossom and be. So yes, I recognize this. What
Yes.
you're saying.
And more of your question about the serving, we would say that you are always in service. It's just a matter of who you are serving. Are you serving others, or are you serving yourself, or are you serving the universe? You're always doing a little bit of all of them, though sometimes you focus more in one direction. Now, if you focus to serve yourself in harm of others, taking from them, that will lead to a more negative karmic sort of experience and perpetuate suffering. Though if you serve yourself without harming others, you actually fill your own energy field with more of Source's light, so that when you decide to give to others, you can give more without losing anything. And many of you have been already in deep and great service to bigger things opening for you. You have been in service to the benefit of all, though you have not allowed yourself to receive enough to feel joyful in your giving. And so now the limitation to your giving is that you are not giving enough to yourself. And we see this playing out for you, and now is the time to allow yourself to receive more. Now is the time for you to prioritize the things that you like and enjoy and let them come towards you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, yes. And we suggest that you picture the sorts of people, lovers, friends, sorts of work, and sorts of celebrations that you would prefer the most, and document them in some way to keep them in your consciousness. Feel the joy and the self-celebration, the self-adoration that comes with those ideas, and keep yourself in that emotional state. The rest will play itself out through the flow of life directed by your own higher mind. Yes, I hope Our love to you.
Um,
Hello, yes, how are you doing?
good.
Very good, yes.
A bit emotional.
Alright, a bit emotional. Are you releasing something?
Yeah.
Alright, what would that be?
Well, I have a few questions,
Alright,
and this came up very strongly to me today. And
yes.
it's about a possible past life,
Alright,
or at least I think of it. I used to have a really big obsession with history and specifically the Holocaust.
alright,
And a specific Jewish family that was killed during
alright,
that time. And when I was younger and I started investigating that specific family and also the Holocaust itself, I received a lot of synchronicities,
yes.
which were really strange to me back in the time. But now I kind of feel some images coming up and feelings coming up that I might have had a connection with that certain lifetime and also with that family.
You do?
But I don't.
Part of the same soul group, part of the same oversoul.
Is it possible that I've lived with that family?
Yes, you're part of the same oversoul as members of that family. So that does translate in a way that you perceive it to be your past life. Though that is again just a perception, for you are who you are today. When you leave the physical, your soul will join with the oversoul, which contains as well the soul of some of those beings. And so information from that lifetime bleeds through into this one, and the emotional energy as well, though it is your responsibility now to focus somewhere else.
Was I a sister?
That wasn't you. You are who you are today. That is a part of your oversoul. It is a parallel soul aspect. Yet you are who you are today. And only what you focus upon in the present is going to change your reality now.
Another question is, what are my guardian angels? What are the names?
All of them?
What are the names?
There are many names to the angelic realm that come through different traditions in your world. You at the time are connected with the angel Michael, and that sort of energy is working with you. Though there are connections with you to all of the members of the angelic realm, as really they are you. So they are all of you. They are a higher dimensional octave of the universe. And so everything below that level is part of it. The world around you is part of the angelic realm as well, as every being within it is. So as you imagine connecting to that higher plane and surrounding yourself with the information associated with it and letting it simmer into your consciousness, that angelic realm will open more for you.
I also have another question.
All right.
I met a person a few months back at a festival.
Yes.
And it was like this really instant click that I had with this person. And we were very intimate pretty fast, but I became very jealous at some point when another person came along and everything kind of fucked up.
All right.
And I was wondering if that person was just a message for me to receive, or that person had a certain connection with me to to a certain extent, and it had to.
Well, of course they have a connection with you.
But was it from a past life, or
Doesn't matter.
to me it does?
Every person that you meet is connected with you in another lifetime. Again, you are who you are today, and those other lifetimes are these parallel soul aspects that play out. And so you can be guaranteed that every single person you meet will share another lifetime with you. And those that resonate strongest will have very powerful parallel soul connections that you can use in a visionary state in order to play with the different metaphors and the different themes that come up within your relationship. So, yes, they do have these other parallel aspects to play out with you. And this relationship, how would you like to describe it? Do you still have a connection with this person?
Um,
Are you in contact with them?
no, not
Would you like to be?
Yeah.
Are you willing to reach out?
Yes.
All right. And are you willing to trust that you will gain from this? You cannot lose anything from it?
Yeah.
That the emotions that come up are being cleared from you? That you will gain greater ability to develop belief systems that orient your consciousness to find love within yourself
Yes.
through this process?
Yes.
Then nothing can go wrong?
One last question.
Yes.
How can I reactivate my psychic powers?
Are you really asking us this?
Yes, because I do feel like
Have we not shown ourselves to you?
yes, you did.
And so you're saying your psychic gifts are not active? You are not meant to always be in an altered flying state of consciousness, because if you were, you wouldn't be able to have a experience of your reality that was relatable to those you are meant to help. Do you understand?
Yes.
That when your psychic gifts need to activate, they will. You are receptive and you are tuned in, and now you are on a journey. So let those gifts become activated when they need to, and use the meditations as permission slips that you feel attracted to when it feels appropriate. The meditations, the focus of your consciousness for a certain period of time each day will make this happen more naturally, though there is much learning that will happen simply through your experience, and trust that your intuition is already working for you.
Yes, thank you.
We do thank you, yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
How may I step more fully into my authenticity and not hold back out of fear?
What do you fear could happen if you were really authentic?
Being rejected by those I love, abandoned.
And why would that entirely be a bad thing?
Deep down I can see it's not, but I place a lot of my sense of wholeness in others.
And why do you do that when you know it to be false?
Because often I find myself not able to see that I can be complete unto myself.
All right. Do you suppose that as you become more authentic and you speak what is true to you, that you will repel certain people, they will reject you, yet those people don't actually match your vibration to begin with?
Yeah.
And do you suppose that as you do that, you will become a clearer, defined version of yourself?
Yeah.
And that as a naturally magnetic being, you will attract to you others who have the similar sorts of vibrations that will reflect to each of you a mutually beneficial learning process.
Yeah.
All right. Then if you really believe that, then what more is blocking you? What don't you want to say? What don't you want to be?
I can see this very clearly, how me stepping more into my authenticity will bring all of this to me.
Yes.
But this fear is so strong at times that it just freezes my whole system.
All right.
And I would like to know how I can approach that to still, even though I'm terrified, still do what my heart calls me to do.
Just do it. Don't worry.
There is some truth to that. Though you may make this a bit easier for yourself if you truly allowed more of your self-love to be manifest in a way that you can see and reflect upon. Do you really truly love yourself?
I find it hard to.
Can you identify what's good about you? Can you identify your talents?
Yeah.
And can you communicate those things to others?
In what ways do you mean?
Can you say in a conversation with another that I really like this about myself?
That's often a challenge for me.
All right. We want to give you one permission slip, and that is to write a love letter to yourself. Highlight all of the things you really truly appreciate about yourself and congratulate yourself on the wonderful journey that has brought you to where you are today. Congratulate yourself on confronting the challenges that brought you to this moment with great power, with great wisdom. And read this to yourself every day. Read it especially in the moments when you find that you have been rejected, so that you can instead approve of yourself. And yes, what the other person said is also quite true, that you simply need to just go out and do it and act upon your excitement. Though using this permission slip and using the permission slip of documenting what you really enjoy about yourself will help you in particular in this process at this time. For you must be able to own what you love about yourself so that others may love that about you too. And oftentimes others will pick up on the things that you subconsciously have begun to own within you, though you can get more of this by loving it for yourself, loving these aspects of yourself, and also dropping the resistance to the things that you don't like about yourself. In other words, surrender to the worst potential outcomes of what could happen if you really became authentic. Because until you have released the attachment to having a positive outcome, you will distort the timeline. You have to be truly non-attached. In other words, in order to get something, you have to be okay without having it. In order to not have something happen, you have to be okay with it happening. It is the great paradox of your reality. We understand, though there's no way around it. There is one caveat to that, and it is if you truly, truly desire something so profoundly, you will eventually get it. So the only way you can avoid these natural laws or make them a little bit less harsh is to really, really want the things you want. So really, really have a strong desire for being more authentic, and that will as well make this easier. Does that help you?
Very much so.
Okay, then we thank you. We love you very much. We hope you extend that same love to yourself more.
Mm.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like when I think about death, I was like 7 years old or something,
Yes.
and I learned that every living being has bones, like humans.
Yes.
And then I realized that my parents have also bones,
Yes.
and I realized that they are not angels. And then I cried every night for 1 hour for 1 year.
All right.
So it was
Sounds like a very challenging experience.
yeah, because I realized that bones means death, and when they have it too, that they will die one day too.
Well, bones also mean life.
But that's
You wouldn't
what
have a body without bones. Bones are only the thing that is left over, the very last, when your body decomposes. They have more to do with life than they have to do with death. They only remind you of death.
So, just my question is, what might cause this extreme trauma of crying for 1 year, more or less, like every evening? And how can I bring already healing into it, but if there's anything else to bring attention to?
Well, the pain was caused by focusing on what you don't want. What you don't want is the death of someone you love. And so you were very acutely focused on that potentiality, and that caused you a lot of pain, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So really, this isn't trapped in you, this isn't lodged in you. This pain has been released. You wouldn't have been crying if it was lodged into your body. It is simply a strong memory, and you can actually gain from this memory by realizing that it is truly just your focus that determines what you feel. So by focusing on the things you do prefer rather than the things you don't, you will feel a lot better. And the truth of it is that everyone's going to die, and that many of you have already lost someone that you wish were here. Yet if you keep wishing they were here, you actually cause more pain for yourself. So if you keep focusing on the loss of something, you'll cause pain for yourself. Bring your focus to what is bringing joy to you in the moment. And if anything, you can find beauty, you can find power and art through the contrast of life. If you can at least see the contrast of life and death and light and dark as a form of the universe's art, you can at least appreciate beauty within it. And the beauty will allow you to shift your focus with greater ease. Does that help you at all?
Yep.
Is there anything more we could assist you with?
Thank you.
We love you very much, yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you, I just quit smoking today at 6 o'clock.
Alright.
And,
So you are a new version of yourself that does not smoke.
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I would, I just, I tried 3 weeks ago, and I managed 3 days, and then sort of failed at non-smoking. So today I try again. But do you have some kind of tips maybe for me to stay a non-smoker, because I really want it, but sometimes there's like this, how it works maybe with addiction. So yeah.
Well, we would just suggest to addict to something better.
Like what?
What do you enjoy the most?
That's more than one thing, I guess. Oh, dancing. Yeah, I really enjoy dancing. Should I dance every time I
Yes.
want to sing? Ah, okay.
Shake your body. Because the smoking for you is a form of release, is it not?
Yeah.
It is a release from something stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you smoke, you use that as a permission slip to let go of your negative focus.
Yeah.
So acknowledge that. Thank the act of smoking for it has been a useful permission slip to shift your focus.
Mm-hmm.
And now use that same mechanism to something that you enjoy a lot and addict to that.
Yeah.
So whenever you feel annoyed,
Yeah.
then
Dance.
intentionally shift your focus to something enjoyable by doing something you love very much.
Okay.
So dance yourself out of that negative focus until you are feeling good again, and then move through your life.
Yeah. Wow, this is a really helpful tip. Thank you.
All right, we thank you. Yes.
I have a question.
Enjoy your new addiction.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yes. Your new question. Yes.
Yeah, I started with the ayahuasca 2 years ago.
How
and
exciting.
Yeah, it's lots of fun, and I learned a lot.
All right.
And now I'm at a point that I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm releasing the past
Yes.
and reconnecting to my higher soul.
Yes.
So 2 or 3 days ago, I always have a vision of my like my husband, I think, or
All right.
love.
All right.
And a couple of days ago, I met somebody, and he was just like in on my frequency.
Yes.
And but I'm pretty scared of this connection. Like
Oh, how exciting.
yeah, it's exciting, but like scary at the same time because
Well, fear is a form of excitement.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just searching for like this moment to reconnect with love and the trust and the security of myself. But I find myself wandering in thoughts a lot instead of just letting it be.
Let's find the line of healthy fear. For there is a degree of fear that protects you. We would call that the spectrum of caution and weariness, that you are cautious about things that cause you harm. So it would be harmful to get into a relationship that perhaps damages you or drains you of your personal energy. And so it is natural to be a bit cautious in this sense. So then let's go further. What is the fear really about? What are you supposing could happen if you get closer to this person?
The fear, it has to do with the past because of my parents. They left me when I was young.
So you are supposing that he will leave you too?
Yeah, I think it's.
But you know that not to be true?
Yeah.
You know that to be a projection of what you experienced in the past?
Yeah.
And you can let that projection be something relegated to your past by loving the child self that experienced it and inviting her back into your heart.
Yes.
And that sounds easy and joyful.
Yes.
And you can begin practices to love your inner child and change her memories.
Yes.
All right. And do you suppose if you do that, you won't continue to project this fear on the other person?
Yeah, I don't think he's accepting the fear, so it's mostly.
And so you've done well to attract someone who is committed to well-being.
Yes.
Which is a reflection of your inner commitment to well-being.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty easy, actually.
That sounds nice.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Go full force ahead.
Thank you.
We do thank you.
Can I say something here?
Yes.
Because you do in the ayahuasca, not the Santo Daime.
No, not the Santo Daime.
I was a pedaro with the Santo Daime for full on 9 full years. I worked with them in Brazil. And my experience with the whole community is their divine being is connected way outside of this sphere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can love and open up the love, but it's not on a personal sphere. It's a companionship, and it's the holding and feeding that part of each other. It's a beautiful landscape. But it's different to ayahuasca as in Peru. That's another shamanic work.
Yeah.
I worked with it in Brazil. I lived with them in the rainforest, and it's another kind of work. They're just happy to see you're a human being on the planet right now. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I would like to ask something,
Yes.
and I would like to say hello again. We met 2 times before.
Yes, it is great to see you again in this way.
I went to see my sister last week in Prague, and I
Yes.
saw a picture of my granddad, my
Yes.
Russian granddad. He was a general during the war, and he died.
Yes.
And I've never met him. I don't know if I met him. I don't remember. But I saw his face in the photograph, and it touched me.
Yes.
I saw myself.
Yes. Because he is alive inside of you.
Can you say something about this? Yeah.
The soul energy is captured in every photo. So the soul of your grandfather was reaching out to you through this picture, and through the mirroring of your perception of yourself within his image, you are acknowledging that he is alive in your very body. So he, in this way, has extended his glance and his love to you to remind you that his presence is always around you and within you.
And why is he in my life? Or
Well, all of those who passed on stay connected to the souls present and alive as they share their great love and their great curiosity for the unfolding that continues to occur. And his presence and love is to support you in making the changes that you wish to make, for he is desiring for your well-being in his way. Yes.
So I feel that my grandma,
Yes.
since she passed away almost a year ago, I feel that I'm reliving periods of her life.
All right.
Okay, in different times. Sometimes she also disappears for a while. And I'm also reliving periods where I wasn't there. So her childhood and womanhood. And I think I realized that, or at least my intuition feels that what I'm living the most, and it's something that I've never thought of or felt when she was alive, so since she died, is that I'm reliving a fear that she had when she was 13 during
Yes.
the Second World War, where there was a bombing and she got really scared.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel that I really live it, like really strongly.
Yes.
And I don't know what to do with it.
Feel it and release it. And you may wish to go on some vision journeys to meet that soul aspect of your grandmother, which is very much alive within you, and bring your loving present safety to her by picturing a different scenario. So the memory of what that could have happened and what may have felt like is alive in your consciousness at a subconscious level. And by actively going to that level, you can re-envision that scenario with your present self as a spirit guide to your grandmother. Picture a different scenario and picture a different outcome so that this situation will be changed for you and within your subconscious. And that code within your DNA that is awakened through that fear will also change. Add on to that in your present life to truly focus on your feeling of safety. It is not loving to allow yourself to feel unsafe. So there may be certain changes that you wish to make in your relationships and your home life that will help you to feel safer, and allow yourself to choose that.
Thanks. Can I ask something?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it is our pleasure. We thank you.
I have a couple questions.
All right.
My first one is I have been reborn as a spiritual person in the past couple of years,
Yes.
and I'm loving myself now
and it's so fucking awesome. Like,
Yes.
life is just so good now since living myself, and I'm coming to a point in my life where it's time for me to choose like some career options so I can create abundance and support myself.
All right.
And
That's
I have
very
all
exciting.
These, thank you. And I have all these like ideas of myself. Like there's like
Very
guidance
exciting.
counselor Alex, and then there's acting Alex, and then there's like osteopath Alex, and there's so many avenues that like excite me so much, and I just can't seem to get clarity and focus.
Which one out of all of them is most exciting?
Acting Alex keeps coming up as the most exciting, but then also my service to the world I feel is healing, and so the healing feels like very up there as well.
Then why is there a this or that perspective?
Oh, good call.
Because they're actually intimately interwoven, and this is how all of your excitements are, is that one passion will bleed through into another passion, and the clear connection between acting and healing is that when you are acting, you are really channeling a new persona. When you are healing, you are channeling a state of well-being and allowing that to resonate with the field of others. So as you practice this sort of understanding that when you are acting, you are channeling, when you are healing, you are channeling, you can make them more intimately connected. They will feed back on one another. And naturally, as you flow through life, you may find that your higher mind makes the situations play out so that you will act when you wish to, and you will focus on the healing when you wish to. Simply allow your own feeling in each moment guide you to which one is more relevant for you.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Oh, yes.
So recently I feel almost like a fragmented being. Like I feel parts of myself that are separated, and I haven't felt myself as a whole. And I feel like time is so fast that I can't get ahead of it. Like I'm experiencing things rapidly.
Yes.
And I'm waking up with a lot of anxiety and like almost like freeze.
All right.
So I was just wondering if you have
Very
any
exciting.
insights. Oh.
Well, your anxiety is a form of excitement, truly. In fact, anxiety and excitement are the same energy. It's simply that your anxiety is your excitement filtered through belief systems that are not accurate, that are not truly representative of a state of oneness, of a state of true unconditional love. They are beliefs that are limiting your ability to experience yourself as a free, sovereign being. So what is it that is causing you to feel anxious? What are you focusing upon?
It's so hard for me to tell what it is. I feel like I don't know what it is.
That's not true.
Okay. Hold on. Maybe it's that I'm not doing enough or doing the right thing.
Yes.
In the morning.
What would the right thing be according to your belief system?
To carpe diem.
To what?
Carpe diem, like get up and like do the thing, like get up and like do the day like early, but
Is that truly exciting for you?
no,
What would be more truly exciting for you?
just to let it flow, start the day whenever it feels right.
And why aren't you allowing yourself to do that?
I don't know, I guess because I thought that it would be best to start with like an hour yoga practice or something.
Well, it ultimately doesn't matter what you do, though what does matter is that you feel good while you're doing it, and that you feel good after you're doing it, and that you feel good in each and every moment. The universe is responding to your present emotional state of being by bringing you more things that match that emotional state of being. And so you can do well to cooperate with your belief systems. If you cannot stop believing that it is better to start working, you better start working.
Okay.
Though you can practice the tools of meditation, of inner focus, of commitment to focusing your thoughts to change those belief systems so that you just feel better. And that will be a necessary part of the process. Though in the present moment reality, sometimes it's much easier to cooperate with your belief systems. Though we see that now you are in range of a new belief that is, my feeling state is the priority, my emotional state is the priority, and therefore when I do the things that feel good, good things will happen. Because when I do the things that feel good, I'll be more clear in my mental perception. And when I'm more clear in my mental perception, I'll make better decisions. And then when I make better decisions, I'll have better results. And when I have better results, I'll be able to feel better. And when I'm able to feel better, I'll be able to make more better decisions. Does that sound accurate?
That's great. Thank you very much.
And the practice that you are drawn to, again, we use the word permission slip because it gives you permission to feel good. Now, using your body in a physical way is very good for you, and all of you know this. So allow yourself to enjoy it when it naturally feels right. If you want to do it in the morning, do it then. And if you want to do it at a later time, do it then. We do thank you, and we extend our unconditional love to you in this way.
I have a question.
I'd love to ask a question.
Yes.
The issue of trust is playing out a lot in my life.
All right. How exciting.
It is exciting. It's interesting that I get the projection from a lot of people that I'm representing trust and that I'm very trustworthy. And at the same time, I notice that I trust the connection to the higher realms a lot.
Yes.
But when
That is a very safe place.
Yeah, it is a safe place for me, and at the same time, I don't trust people that much.
Yes.
So
Why
there
should
is
you?
a longing to expand my trust to
Yes.
people as well, and it's a very scary place.
All right. Do you suppose that this is actually a belief that is helpful to you?
I think it has been. I don't know if it's still a belief that is helpful for me. I think it was in the earlier days.
Do you suppose that you should go walk out in the street and trust the first stranger you meet immediately?
No.
All right, so this is a helpful belief. Yet there is some degree of it that is a bit paranoid.
Yeah.
So let's look at that part. What are you projecting onto the other? What do you suppose could happen that you definitely don't want?
To be stabbed in the back is what comes up.
All right.
To be betrayed.
Would that entirely be a bad thing?
Yes.
Can you see that in an experience of betrayal, there is something you could gain? Can you imagine a scenario in which you would be betrayed and that would be a good thing for you?
No.
Can you at least suppose that if someone betrayed you, you would learn that that would not be a good person to trust?
Yeah.
And that would be a demonstration of their true character. And that because this is a universe where what you put out comes back, when you put out the truth of that betrayal and you expose that person, that you will be in a sort of karmic balance that will allow the love that you poured into that person's reality to multiply back into your reality in a different way, from a different avenue.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes. And you understand that your intuition is clearly developed enough that you would not trust someone who is dangerous?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. There's my wobbliness. Like, I have a tendency on some level to trust anyone and on another level to trust no one, and that there's no selectiveness.
All right. when you attune yourself to another's vibration, you do pick up on their thoughts. Yes?
Yes.
So you wouldn't suppose that if someone was truly intending to physically harm you, you would know that?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're not speaking about the kind of emotional danger, for that is not a real danger in the sense that when you are hurt emotionally, you have the ability to recover because you have the ability to focus somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so this fear you have is in a way protective, because if you weren't somewhat skeptical, you could allow someone who is physically dangerous and very mentally unbalanced into your reality. So you must thank this level of skepticism and this discernment for helping you to filter that out of your reality. And from that point, you must understand that the experience of rejection is actually a gift from the universe to bring you closer into alignment with the souls that actually resonate. You discover what resonates with you more completely by experiencing what doesn't resonate. And this is something that all of you are going through in this time of transformation on your planet, is that you are experiencing the things that you don't want in order to learn what you do want. And when that can become okay, when you can surrender to the probability of being hurt, you will put yourself in the greatest probability of not being hurt. Yet you have to be okay with that outcome. You have to make that a potentially good situation. You have to see the potential benefit of every negative thing that could happen to you in order to be in the freest vibrational place. You see?
Yeah.
So whenever you begin to project yourself into the future, this is a great thing that all of you do. Whenever you begin to project yourself into the future, look at every single thing that could happen and find the benefit in that thing. Whether it is a rejection, or whether it is a divorce, or whether it is a fight, see what would benefit you from that so that you could be okay with that probability. And when you're okay with it, you probably won't attract it. Yet your resistance is an insistence on the very thing that you are resisting. Your resistance is a magnet bringing the thing that you don't want towards you. So you have to know that there is a hidden positive in every single thing that could ever happen to you, including your very death, which is part of why we're here today.
Yeah, I get it. I have one little follow-up question.
Yes.
But there is a tendency when you talk about tuning into the vibration, I can tune into the vibration pretty easily. I'm afraid that I will tune into the potential of a person and not so much the actual being.
Oh, yes. Oftentimes you do that.
Yeah. How do I distinguish more in that area to not like fall in love with every potential and then
Bring yourself back to the present. Notice the things that they're doing in this moment. Notice the negative things about them as well. Highlight the negative things and let them be okay. Just do not allow your filters to show you only the positive in a person. Balance that great potential with the things that limit them, and reflect to them those things to see how they respond to your criticism. This is a wonderful test to see if they are really willing to face their shadows.
yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
We do thank you, yes.
I have another question, if that's okay.
All right, let's hold on for a moment to see if there are other questions from the group.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I guess for the past 2 years I've been going through a very
intense transformation process, and it's going very fast
Yes.
and very intense. And it's still really going, and I was fortunate enough to have a job where I could take a year off.
Yes.
But because I really felt like this transformation was a full-time job.
Yes.
But it's still going at this rate, where I have like sometimes periods of really intense insomnia, where energies come in like so high that I have to take days off to let it integrate. And at the same time, I'm also looking for situations and events to help me grow, because I feel that it's the only path, really.
Yes.
And I just, at the same time, I feel I'm really on the right path, and
You are.
and on the other hand, I feel I become really detached from the source that I make money from. Even though I like my job, but it's like sometimes I have to take like weeks off to I don't know, I feel like I have a hard time managing like.
Do you really enjoy it? Or do you only enjoy that you make money from it?
No, I do enjoy it.
Do you fully enjoy it? Is there something you would enjoy more?
Yes, there are things I would enjoy more. Although I do, yeah, I do enjoy it, but it's in a very.
All right, stop being so dramatic about it.
Yeah.
Really. Take time off because you want to do something else instead of forcing yourself through this belief and obligation that you have to have distress in order to have time off. Your job isn't your highest excitement, but it perpetuates your existence and therefore it is necessary. Yet you don't always want to do it. So don't stress yourself out about not wanting to do it to the point that it causes the actual need to take time off. Just take it for its own sake, to focus on what you enjoy.
That's important.
It is that simple. Does it seem that simple to you?
Yes.
Great. That was easy. All right, next one.
Does ayahuasca know that I'm going to meet her?
Yes. All right. And back to that other question.
The one that,
Go for it.
Yeah. My nephew committed suicide 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
And it seems like, his decision was based on being in that moment in a space of, I guess, not trusting life or not feeling loved or whatever. But
Yes.
and I do really I made peace with the choice he made, but it seems like he thought that by committing suicide he would relieve his suffering. But it
He did.
seems, yeah, okay, yeah, true. But it seems like the energy of that suffering is now sort of
Your
moved.
problem.
No, not mine. It's
Someone else's.
especially his mom, dad,
Yes.
and his sister. So
Yeah.
I guess for me, because I respected his choice, even though I miss him, but it's his choice. But my question is, how can I sort of help? I don't know, release some of the suffering of his parents or sister.
Get them to focus on something else long enough that they start to feel better.
Yeah. And how do I let them focus on something else? Like that's it seems though
Are they open to this sort of a transmission, this sort of a mediumship?
I guess my niece is,
Alright,
but I don't really think her parents are.
alright.
Yeah.
For her, you can expose some of the ideas to show her that her beloved one is safe and at one with Source. You can play with your connection to him and bring his energy to her to let her remember that he's always with her.
Yeah.
And let her focus on the things that she wants from there. Assure her that what her brother really wanted was safety and happiness.
Yeah.
So that in order to serve him, she must find that safety and happiness. And for the parents, well, maybe encourage them to do something just fun for the sake of it. When they start to talk about him, express your belief in his safety and oneness and change the subject.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The dwelling on it is perpetuating the pain in this
Yeah.
sense. So there needs to be a natural experience of relief. And of course, there are many layers to this process of grief, and know that as you do this, the projection of the anger layer may occur,
Yeah.
and that's all right.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm already prepared for that
So,
one.
find something that can absorb the anger. A crystal. We would suggest citrine. Take one of those with you and hold it close so that it absorbs the anger and transmutes it into your own confidence in your spirit. And this is a learning ground for you. So the more you can find excitement for it, and you don't obviously wish to be happy for what occurred, but you can be happy to be the one who brings the relief from suffering, like a Buddha.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
We do thank you, yes.
I think my question is connected to the previous one a bit, and all the other questions I can feel they all resonate with me, so I'm very grateful to be here. And there's much suffering in my ancestors, like many of us, and I feel sometimes I'm wobbling, so sometimes I'm really healing and like transmitting the radiance of myself, my true self, and other times I'm really in this suffering and darkness that I can really feel this burden of this ancestral suffering actually.
Yes.
And my mother, for example, is still alive, and she's very weak.
All right.
Yeah, and it's very difficult for me to handle this, because I feel we have this strong soul connection. I know, like in a previous life, I was her mother, and I think we have this deep connection. And and also before you started channeling, and I really felt my grandmother very close to me, and I could see her as a child. And her pain as a child. And my question is like, how can I best serve my family now without without harming myself, basically. Being there for my mother, for the past generations, but also the future generations.
Well, you must serve as an example. And so really what serves you the most is what serves them the most. So it is your positive emotional state that will bring them into resonance with that positive emotional state. And the actions they take to get to feeling good will be very different than the actions you will be taking. They don't need to follow the same physical route, but they will follow the same vibrational route. So allow yourself to focus on the things that feel good to you, while not insisting on them following you necessarily. Simply open the door to them and wink at them. Tell them that, come on, just feel good. And if they choose to, that's great, celebrate it. And if they don't choose to, pretend that they did. Live in the reality in which they're feeling as good as you're feeling. keep pretending that they are. And this is actually the quickest way to bring somebody else into a vibrational resonance with you, is to pretend that they agree when they don't. In other words, you're tricking your physical mind. Your physical mind knows that they don't agree, but your higher mind understands the probability of them feeling great too. So you shift your focus from your physical mind to your higher mind to allow that probability to enter. You know the truth of what is occurring right now, yet you are so surrendered to the greater flow that you allow the happiness of that probability in which they feel it too.
That's very nice. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
And
So in taking the actions of simply expressing your love, by giving them the things that they love the most, by knowing what brings them to feel joy and honoring that, you will help them get there quicker.
yes.
Sending them little messages, sending them great hugs and thanks, and playing with them. It'll help them very much. Though, again, when they start to focus on the things they don't want, again, as quickly as you can, bring them to focus on the things that they do want. For there is a great habit of dwelling in the annoyances that is very common in your world. And it is almost a social morale to have something to complain about that you brush beneath the rug. Instead, just let it be what it is. Turn it into a joke. Even joke about those things they complain about.
Sounds good. Yeah, that really resonates. And I have one more question.
All right.
So my grandmother experienced the loss of 2 of her children.
Yes.
So this kind of fear is truly within my DNA.
Yes, it is.
And I have a son.
Yes.
And every time I look at him, I have this, like, I appreciate the moment. I feel so much love for him, but I also appreciate it very much because I feel like, oh, it can be taken away from me anytime. And it's kind of this really scary feeling. And what we were saying about this resistance that we have, that we call into being the things that we resist. And I was just thinking, like, how can I transmute this fear of losing my son, for example? You know, how can I? Yeah.
Well, understanding that the departure of anyone is their birth into spirit, so it's never a bad thing. If you really believe that, you won't fear the loss of anyone because you'll know that what is your loss is their birth.
Yes.
Well, continuing on the topic, then you just reminded me. I think I carry a lot of traumas from my mother, as she lost almost all of her family very young. She lost her parents at a very young age, and her brother while she was expecting my brother, and she left almost without family. And now also her husband left. My father left her, and she is, I think, a very lonely person, and she doesn't speak to me either a lot, and she's very closed. And I, of course, I have my own way, I go a different way, but some of those family traumas, they remain, and I feel this, how I close myself up also at times, and how do I heal this, or how do I heal my mother, or do I have to heal myself? Well,
Yes, you must first heal yourself. You cannot heal her. You can bring her into resonance with your own healing once you have healed yourself. Though this healing is, again, occurring in 2 ways. And it is these subconscious stories, these memories or dreams about loneliness or neglect. So you must change your memories of your childhood. You must picture new memories of your childhood in which you felt loved, and picture new memories of your mother's childhood in which different things occurred. So every time you focus on that story and you tell it again, it becomes more alive within you, and it may be more helpful or is more helpful, not maybe, it is more helpful to pretend something different happened. Because this tricks your consciousness into feeling the positive emotion of connectedness. And then you must reinforce that by bringing yourself into the situations, into the friendships, into the communities that reflect to you that feeling of connectedness. The more you nurture yourself by giving yourself loving connection, the more this will heal. And with that more complete within your vibration, you can extend that loving connection to your mother, and most likely she will be receptive to it as we read her energy, from you at least. It will take some time for her to meet others in the same way. Though as you heal yourself and you experience greater love and greater ability to speak your own truth, this will ripple out to her.
Thank you.
We do thank you, yes.
Could I ask you something?
Yes. And this will be the last question.
Oh. I think in general, I feel like I'm in a state of confusion.
All right. How exciting.
Well, but my question is, I would like to have more clarity. So in that sense, how to obtain it.
What confuses you?
What confuses me? Many things at the moment. For example, I would like to trust more what I guess is meant with intuition, or what my body knowledge tells me. So it's also concerned with sexuality.
All right.
Which I find it really a little bit strange to ask you.
That is one of our favorite subjects.
So I feel like I have a natural tendency to be drawn to people who in the end will hurt me.
All right.
Which has happened as well. And at the moment, for example, I have a very strong connection with someone I met half a year ago. And that's something I've never experienced before like this. And this person has the same. Then we were together and he hurt me tremendously. And now, well, I started to move on with my life, couldn't let go. He had the same, we kept meeting each other. And now I'm in a state of utter confusion. So this is an example of love life, but I also have confusion in general, how to trust myself to take the right decisions in life. Many questions.
When you are confused, it is because something is changing. It is because your understanding is changing or your reality is changing. So when you feel this confusion, the clarity can be found by focusing on the future probability of a different sort of experience. So again, as the theme has arisen today, it is about loving yourself first. It is about being okay when the other person cuts off the stream of love to you, and knowing that there is another stream of love that will come to you, and making yourself available to it. Can you imagine a version of yourself that is in that state, receptive to the form of love that is most accessible, rather than insisting that the love that they want must come from one stream?
I can, yeah.
And does that feel more clear?
Yeah, it feels more clear.
And there's another layer of the confusion, so what's that about?
I feel a sort of conflict between rationality and basically my physical attraction. So in that sense, I feel like rationally, I know sort of good people. I mean, saying this a bit weird.
We understand.
Yeah, okay, right.
So you are knowing that some people are not good for you,
Right.
yet your heart is attracted to them anyway.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, well, I find that a very good question. Yeah.
Do they represent something to you? These sorts of people? Do they all have a certain quality that excites you?
I think a sort of pattern of self-destruction,
All right.
and in a way, not intentionally being a bad person, but also in a state of confusion, I guess, and then hurting other people with it.
What could be the benefit of a state of confusion?
Being open to various possibilities.
All right. So we found what you could call hidden motivation is that you want someone who allows you to be so spontaneous, so in the moment, so open to life. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yet you've confused being open to life with being erratic and unpredictable because your world and society wishes for everything to be so finely organized. So you've been very rebellious in this sense. Congratulations. So could you suppose that you can be focused in your preference of a future outcome, focused in your preference of a agreement of a relationship, while being open to the potentiality of change in every moment?
Could you repeat it?
Could you be focused on the things that you want and the ways that you want them and the timing of when you want them while being open to it happening in a different way?
Yes.
Could you make a clearly defined form that could then change in any moment?
Ooh. Not sure.
Because this is how reality works. Let's talk of the elements for a moment. Earth structures things. Fire changes things. And the earth and the fire is in everything. So you have come to separate them with your mind, yet it is actually all intrinsically interwoven within your being. So you must have a clearly defined form that then can change in any moment, because that is a clearer experience of reality. Everything will always change. And no matter how clearly you define and pinpoint and lay something out, it can change too. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, can you be more clear in what you ask for?
In relationships?
Yes.
I think I could be.
And do you suppose that if you ask for something and you were told no, that the person would either reconsider it or leave you?
That could be, yeah.
And do you suppose that by asking, you then put yourself in a clearer vibration to receive, whether it's from that source or another?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you think you can practice this?
Could you give me an example of how to practice it?
By, in a relationship, stating your needs clearly.
Sure. Yeah.
And by being open to the love you receive from your spiritual source and from your dear friends when you feel the love cut off from the one that you are trying to get it from.
Mm-hmm.
And do you suppose that this would be a wonderful learning experience?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So one last thing we'll say is that you'll always be attracted to something you believe will benefit you. So if you find out why that thing must be beneficial to you according to your beliefs, you can then make that definition materialized by speaking it, writing it, or putting it into some form of expression, and then find a clear way of getting it without getting the negative things you attach to that positive thing. In this case, it is the openness and spontaneity and the ability to change. Now, change and confusion are intimately interwoven. And every time something changes in your world, there will be a certain level of confusion that you can transform as quickly as you would wish. Though, use confusion as this sort of a permission slip to know that every time you are confused, your definitions of reality or your experience of reality is about to change. So let the confusion help you to be open to the change and celebrate it. In that sense, you will be like the phoenix birthing from the fire, dying and being reborn in every single moment. And this is a wonderful way to end our transmission, is by pondering this symbol for a moment. For truly, nothing ever really dies, and the death you experience is but an illusion. And the symbol of the phoenix can be a teacher of that. If you picture this wondrous bird of great flames that soars and burns and sends to all it meets the flame of hope and passion. And when this mythic bird is ready to disappear, it simply ends its current form and becomes a fresh egg. A fresh egg that, like the universe, shatters to create multitudes. The phoenix does this again and again and again. And in many ways, every time you change the way you see yourself, you are like a freshly hatched egg. A new phoenix ready to burn until you feel like changing again. You are that powerful, and every change is a total change. There is no change that is not total, and in a sense permanent, because you have shifted from one version of yourself to a new one. And when you change again, you are a totally different person again. Allow yourself to imagine yourself beyond the limitations that you currently have. Allow yourself to imagine a version of yourself that feels totally free, totally joyful, and totally able to adapt to the circumstances of life at your present world, and totally able to create a world of great freedom and joy. As you hold the image of your preferred reality firm in your mind, dear to your heart, it certainly will be. You are meted and greeted by many beings from far beyond who will support you in this journey. And they thank you for receiving that love and support. And as we thank you for receiving the messages and the energies we have shared with you today, and sharing with us your messages and your energy. Together we have expanded greatly, and we do love you all very dearly. We are never departing when we exit through the channel. We are always deeply connected to each and every one of you, and you can feel our vibration simply by remembering and thinking of us. We do love you, and we hope to visit you more often. Tonight in your dreams, before you depart, you may meet us if you ask to feel our vibration during your sleep time. There may be some more transmissions that occur and some different sort of procedures that will help you change more rapidly. Again, it has been our pleasure, and we shall see you in other ways.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was very, very